Hello there, my name is John Abel. I'm one of the technical directors in the Office of the CTO with inside Google Cloud. It gives me great pleasure today to talk about Google's approach to business continuity. What we're dealing with here is actually how Google deals with our continuous plans around business contingency and what we've learned during this period that we're in now. To start off with, let's talk about the actual disruption that's happened. Here is a fantastic quote from Fortune.com, which talks about 75% of companies are seeing capacity disruptions in their supply chains as a result of coronavirus related to transportation restrictions. Everybody is seeing disruption, and no one is exempt from this. What we also know is actually through Google's own heritage and the way that we've engineered our platforms, that actually for more than a decade, Google has constructed a regular disaster recovery testing and rigorous evaluation of this. And here is a great statement from one of our engineering leaders, Urs, who is defining a lot of the strategy that I'll be talking about together with the wider Google team. So let's start with actually what is our, and I'm going to use from now on BC. So what is our BC for planning considerations? First of all, we have to evaluate and impact the staff and customers and suppliers. It's critical that the human side of this is equally as important as the technology side. Short and long-term planning scenarios. Everything is being disrupted, and we're seeing that people are learning as we go through this period. And actually, plans are now not static, they're much more agile. We're having to work with our supply chain and vendors and make sure that we understand our dependencies. Workload prioritization. With inside Google, we talk about the three respects: respect the user, respect the opportunity, and respect each other. That is no different for how we have to respect the workload prioritization. And then make sure we have the technology and capacity and the forecasting to handle these exceptional demands that are being made on our business. So within that, we have three pillars. One is the people. As I said before, we start with people because people are the way that you need to look at the first instance, because people are the fundamental building blocks to everything that we do. Then we look at our processes, and then when we move into our processes, we finally end up at our technology. Now, let's start with the people side. First of all, we've used our own video conferencing and our own chat methodology across the whole of Google. Since I joined Google, I actually haven't used my voice phone as I would where I previously worked. I've used video conferencing and chat continuously, which meant when I came to working at home, it was a continuation of what I already knew. We prepared for dedicated teams to ensure operation and business continuity happened all the time, because it was super important that everybody understood their place in this role and how they handled their role. So when I was working at home, I was still effectively working as if I was in the office. And we've prepared, and we've always done this, for regular disaster recovery exercises. I say disaster recovery isn't just for Christmas, it's for all time of the year. You have to continuously test your processes. Testing, testing, and testing is critical. We've made sure that every Googler has the ability to collaborate and has access without compromise the security that we hold as the number one job. We've made sure that we've provisioned our support agents with the right remote access controls to make sure they can support our customers. Remember that respect the customer. We have to do that. We've also made sure SRE, which is Site Reliability Engineering, still operates 24/7 and make sure our customers get the right level of support. All of these are our people enablement. At the end of this presentation, I will talk about some of the most critical aspects that you could take away to your own business and then you could implement to help you improve the services that you provide and also improve the well-being of your people and make sure you use the best of your technology. So let's move on to the process. Well, first of all, communication. Communication is ultra critical. Whenever you're pivoting a business, you always talk about the communication plan. Think about what's going on at the moment. We're pivoting economies, we're pivoting even within the week. And our executive team continuously talk to us and actually let us engage with them and let them actually have a two-directional conversational, not one-directional. You must make sure there's a route for any employee, and we do it with Inside Google, to ask questions. We have virtual war rooms with our senior leaders that are continuously monitoring and adapting to what we're learning, because we're all learning at the same time. We've built in dependencies and redundancies across our support centres to make sure we have the highest availability for our customers. And then the infrastructure that we have within this process, we stress test everything continuously. A large percentage of our cloud base will change throughout the year. We never ever want to impact our live services. And then what we do is we identify the primary and secondary backups for all of our support sites across all elements of our stack to make sure that availability is not compromised. Built the infrastructure to cope with this was done many years, and now our customers and our employees are seeing that benefit. So Google takes this process very serious. But then what we need to do is we need to look at the technology. The technology we use, and obviously being a technology company, we make sure that first of all, that we use machine learning throughout all of our technology to optimize the experience that we have. We like technology answering the problem. And actually our engineers, either within SWE, software engineering, or SRE, site reliability engineering, are trying to optimize out human activities, because a human could be a single point of failure. We also make sure that we use machine learning and we use processes to understand our capacity requirements. We've seen a dramatic increase in the requirements for our Meet solutions and other digital technology that far exceeds what we saw before this crisis. We've made sure every system is agile, and we've made sure that we've used the Google technique of 10x to make sure that we understand what the art of the possible could be that 10x from today. We use our own hardware to optimize and make sure that we can scale. And we make sure that we have redundancy, as I explained before, in process with inside our technology. It allows us to have the flexibility across our compute and network infrastructure that gives that customer the full agile service they need. Now, when you're shifting and you're having to pivot, one of the things that we've had to do is look at our readiness. We've had to implement our global response teams. Now, many of these, if not all of them, existed before. And actually, they're now acting and actually working at a higher level of cadence, but they're still working within inside the boundaries of what's acceptable. We've made sure everybody across the company understands our prioritization. We've pivoted from work to home. And that's why I'm talking from you today from my own home location. And we've made sure that our cross-functional teams to support the peak in demand are ready to jump in and ready to activate as required. But remember that when we've done this, our modeling and our techniques we use, we can actually have the leading indicators of what we expect the demand to be. We can make sure that the infrastructure is stable and resilient throughout this period. With this solid BCP approach, you can pivot your own business and you can make sure that you actually are not only learning yourself, but learning with us. A lot of our teams are enabling customers, and you can see examples here, to achieve things they couldn't have achieved 3 to 4 weeks ago. And actually what we're seeing here is we've seen unprecedented demand for our meetings. We've seen unprecedented growth of 40x in March and January. And actually this has enabled us to really provide the capability that's required. It's fair to say now, without the collaborative tools that I use and which our customers use, it would be totally impossible to work effectively. We've seen billions of minutes of video calls per day. This is amazing, that if you think a few decades ago, this wouldn't have been technically possible. So all of that engineering investment that Google's done has enabled us to do this. And here are 3 great customer examples. The NHS are exploring the use of G Suite to really enable the hospitals to respond to COVID-19. Vodafone are using our analyzing technology to actually understand the network traffic and the traffic prioritization. And here the Italian Ministry of Education is shifting the students and actually across the world from in classroom to being home. And these are 3 great examples of what we've done to assist our customers to have a more successful BCP. So Urs talks about that in these times of uncertainty, Google's working very hard to ensure that the Google network is there for everyone, not just for Googlers, but also for our customers and businesses, and our new customers and businesses that are taking on the Google assets to help their business stay safe at day and night. So it's very proud of us to do this at Google, but we understand we need to do it together. So let me give you some top tips. First of all, the staff well-being and consideration is critical. How's your culture changed within your company? We've now moved to edge working, where we're working in a virtual world. We're much more now collaborative, using collaborative tools. But remember, you still got to have those moments of downtime with your other colleagues. So we've implemented this virtual water cooler that allows people across any groups to jump on and just have a conversation outside the context of a work. I do it myself with the teams that I'm within, and it's super useful to have that human connection. We spend vital time as just having a chat and just making sure that people are well and making sure people are actually understanding that we're in this together. We also know many people are parents and have also other activities that they're having to manage now, which they might have not managed before. And actually, again, giving people time and not overloading them. It's a work-life balance like we've never seen. We also provide all Googlers with a starter kit to work from home. This was actually done before the lockdown. And actually, as a Googler, this has made my life a lot easier because now I can talk to you today and I have an experience that helps me work more efficient at home. And finally, we certainly practice what we communicate and take time to make sure that you detach from the business that you're in as well. It's easy to stay connected a lot longer now, but having that vital downtime with your own family and your own experiences outside of work is still critical and important. So I hope these top tips help you. So I want to finally finish with a quote from Thomas Kurian, our CEO of Google Cloud. We continue to work tirelessly on these and other initiatives to support our users, customers, and communities in this time of need. My personal note here is really that actually we want you to first of all stay safe and well, but we also don't want you to have barriers on how you can collaborate effectively and efficiently and use our capability across the whole of Google Cloud to drive your business, because together we're going to get out of this. So I want to say today, thank you very much for listening, and thank you for taking the time to hear some of these experiences that we're going through at Google and some of the approaches that we're using to help our business stay for you. And I wish you a health and safe time. Thank you for listening.